Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. It is time for another dose of that Friday obscurity and literature goodness. Today, I know I seem to be focused mostly on Japanese books these days. There is a reason, and that's mostly because, I have absolutely been abusing Mandarake's 10,000 yen free shipping threshold limit, and considering they have scores of obscure books, in addition to all kinds of scandalous stuff that I'm sure would get taken down off of YouTube if I showed it or purchased it, for that matter. But, a lot of these books, they might have some scuff marks on, like, the top creases of, the dust jacket. They might be missing, like, the obi-band thing, with all the blurb. If I can get the word blarb out of my mouth correctly. What might be like a 3,000 yen book can get discounted down to like 700 or 800 yen. I am absolutely going to abuse that system as much as I thoroughly can. And with the American dollar being almost like $1 to 200 yen in some cases when I've ordered almost, not quite, but we're just rounding numbers, it really works out in my favor. So since, I'm lucky enough to have multiple family members that live over there, we've got some shipping addresses we can just send that stuff to if I'm patient. So this was one of a recent stockpile of books that made its way back to the States. One of many that was very close to the top of my list. I had one that was super obscure, but unfortunately my brother was a bit slow in ordering that one, so I'm going to have to get back to hunting for this. But this has been at the top of my list for some time. Moriki Yasuhiro Design Works. So as you can see just from the cover alone, we've got one, it even says down here, it's all robots and hero-based stuff. So this book is nothing but rough, well, there's some finished work, but mostly rough concept designs for just all kinds of cool genre stuff. We'll just jump right into it. I like how when we open it up, we have a very Nagano-inspired 5-star stories-esque looking, that's from Bismarck, it says. 86, that sounds about right. It does not look like anything from Bismarck, but I can't remember the last time I actually watched it. But yeah, that looks super Nagano-ish. Right off the bat, so this is one of the nice things about when you have books formatted horizontally like this, is you just have a lot of space. You can probably display it. You can have more stuff be the focal point. It is a bit of a thin book, but that's okay. Here we have the reverse turn X, which I was not aware he was a designer of. I don't think we got any actual figures or models of this design. It's one of the Build Fighters things. Build Fighters being an absolute bonkers series in terms of concepts that were getting used. That was a little bit more finished than I like. Now, here's one of the nice things I love about this book is just the roughness of a lot of these concepts. Sure, we do get some of the finished pieces. Surprisingly, this is from Gundam F90FF. Fast formula? Fastest formula. I thought it was silhouette formula. Anyway, not as Gundam looking, but interesting to see nonetheless. A lot of this artwork really gives me that vibe from looking at the old BattleTech technical readout manual books. If you're familiar with those, they were kind of the same concept. You just had the big splashy art of, each robot, each battle mech, or whatever they were called, and then like all the loadouts and parameters on the side of the page. And it had a very loose, sketchy style to it as well. I have no idea what this is even from. Actiblade? It doesn't look familiar to me. Doesn't have a year next to it either. Yeah, it does. 2016. Okay. Again, it almost reminds me of like Masakazu Katsura's like Zetman armor designs to a degree. Really cool to see this stuff just, like I said, very rough, very unfinished. All kinds of concept art. Did any of this actually get used? Beats me. I'm like, if you ever wanted design ideas for mechs, this is such a goldmine of a book. Battle Spirits. Battle Spirits being the Bandai-owned trading card game that has run for many, many years over here and died a sad death in the US. Not that it was all that great at the beginning, but there's all kinds of interesting stuff that has shown up in the series, and a lot of, I've always been a fan of the card game artwork genre, so to see that he was busy doing stuff like that is interesting. Venus Project Climax does not ring a bell at all, but then again, I'll be the first to admit I have been off the bandwagon when it comes to anime. My kids don't really watch a whole lot, even though they are fully bilingual, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. Nurse Witch Koto-chan or something? I don't know. That's one of the other interesting things about this book. Dead or Alive 2. Huh. Interesting. And then we have like all these, like, let's get really technical with all of the weaponry. I don't remember playing Dead or Alive 2 or seeing this specific design. I'm sure I played it. 2014. Was this from a TV show, or is this something... Date Alive 2. I don't know. I thought it was Dead or Alive. My bad. Interesting looking ships. So that's a cool thing about this book also, is there's just a ton of stuff. Not just mechs, not just scantily clad girls in armor. I have no idea. We were almost channeling like Miyazaki here with some of these things. And that's the other thing, is there's like a lot of unused art in this book as well, which is even more cool. Majestic Prince. Okay. I remember that one. Again, very rough designs, which is always kind of cool to see. Whether any of this stuff actually ended up in the show, I could not tell you. Never watched it. But again, we got a lot of breakdowns on how all this stuff works. Gyro Zeta. No idea. No clue, but it looks like a toy line or something. Battle Monsuno. See, here's another thing that I love about these books, is oftentimes, because there's just so much going into it, we actually get to see like some of the bad guy stuff. And all too often with these design workbooks or art books, the enemies, which to me are often the more interesting designs, don't really get much page time, And I think that's a real shame. I was not aware that he was making cloth designs for the Seiya stuff. This is from Lost Canvas. I'm recalling at one point, I know my daughter was watching it. She went through a Saint Seiya phase with all the pretty boys. And, Dad, being a fan of fighting shows and manga, was more than happy to oblige her. I don't remember the show being all that great. I remember falling asleep on the couch. But again, we see a lot of, like, just conceptual stuff. Size-wise, I have no idea what I'm looking at here. Some of this stuff looks borderline Sentai enemies, which isn't surprising because there actually are some that he was doing. Some of these faces and designs in the artwork remind me of the lady that did Vampire Princess Miyu, Mikimoto's wife. I think it's her. Very similar style. Reminds me of like late 80s, early 90s. Gigantic Formula. I think this was a TV show. It makes me think of Robot Gigantic Drive. I have no idea what any of this stuff is, but I'm here for it. I love the designs. DN Angel. Okay. Flag. Some real robot-looking stuff here. Apologies if I've skipped over sections. I mean, obviously, we're not going to do everything in the book. A lot of ship concepts. Very Yamato-like. Nope, not Yamato. Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic X, to be specific. Okay. I mean, look, that's like almost like Gundams and Trotty looking at points. Somebody's got to come up with those designs, though, right? Godanner. I liked the designs for Godanner's mechs. That's about the only thing I could say for it. Same thing with Gravion. I couldn't do it. Malice Doll. Okay. Okay. See, like I said, there is some interesting stuff in this book. Okay. Shaman King. That's kind of surprising. Scried stuff. That I can recognize. I'm assuming these were anime only. I do not remember all of them having like the final upgrade style that they did in the manga, from what I remember. The Sakura Wars enemies. The Kobukai stuff. Somebody's got to come up with it. Again, getting to see all of the enemy stuff like this, something I wish we got to see a lot more often. I got, oh gosh, what was the name? The Falcom series, the Legend of Hero stuff. I got one of those art books recently as well, and it's got like all the heroes and none of the interesting bad guy stuff, which is a shame. Generator Gall. This looks so familiar, and I have no idea why. I'm assuming it was a TV show or an OVA series or something, but like, I feel like I should remember this. Why? Besides the fact that it looks like it's typical, you know, Guyver Tokusatsu style anime action. We've got enemy designs. I feel maybe I watched it at one point. Huh. Okay. He did the ship from the Prince of Darkness for Nadesco. And now we have like weird sideways manga stuff. Val Kaiser. Val Kaiser. Why does that not... Makes me think of like a Super Robot Wars mech, but I don't think it is. It says something about a PC game. I don't know what any of this stuff is. This might be some of the... There is original works in here. Hathaway's Flash, which we have recently seen animated. With the Penelope Gundam. Now, the Penelope stuff I've at least seen before, but some of the other Hathaway's Flash stuff. The mess... You know what? I've got one of these sitting around. Like, it's right behind me, in fact. I've been waiting to do a video on it since forever. Maybe I should finish that up. Okay. The Zeo Rhymer. Too bad we don't get some more of the actual design work there. That would have been kind of cool to see. And if you have Zeo Rhymer, you should have... Well, it's got all of the other major dragons. Even got Great Zeo Rhymer in there. I believe I did a video on Great Zeo Rhymer once upon a time. Random artwork. Lily Cat. Whoa! That's going back. That is a deep cut. Lily Cat. MD Geist. Holy crap. This is the kind of stuff we need to see more books with. Just obscure line art from Toby Kage. Ninja robots, right? Fun stuff. Bismarck. I would believe that was on TV in the US. Original stuff. Go Busters. This is like going on too long. There's just a ton, and I haven't even shown. Natalder. Too bad there's no Top Gundar. Or is there? I don't know. I have no clue what these things are. Just a ton of fun stuff. Like I said, cool one for me because, like I said, there's a ton of nostalgic stuff in here, and this is one of those books that's just really fun to pour over. And hopefully we'll have some more of these hauls of books from Japan, and I promise, since it is a new year and all, we'll be sure to put some stuff in English as well. But I need to go pick up my kids because they're getting out of practice of whatever they're doing, so I'm going to bail. And with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye!